Last year, I remember talking to you about you had come from a place where you're expecting to win every night, and you knew that wouldn't happen last year. You never want to get in a place where you just get used to losing. How did you avoid that mindset last year, and how have those close losses fueled you for this year?
Yeah, I mean, just being a competitor in general, I don't think anyone here is going to ever just get comfortable losing. And I think that's something that we saw within each other last year. And then bringing in the group of girls that we have, the rookies, the people that we're able to get in free agency, I mean, you can just tell that they have this competitive spirit that we're not accepting losing. And yes, last year we definitely had some really close games, but I think we were able to see and grow from those. And that's why we're so excited for this year, because we have so much talent in this room and we've just been working together to gel. And so I'm really excited for what's to come this year.
Lou, go ahead.
Aliyah, I saw a comment, I think it was, I don't know, somebody's story that moved over the last couple of days, commenting on Caitlin signing an ultrasound, and you said, dang.
Yes.
And what is the oddest thing you've ever signed, and how
Well,
many of there have there been?
It's not an ultrasound, that's true. So I think she
huh?
wins. I honestly, I don't even know, because when you try to compare it to an ultrasound, I mean, I think anything else is just like, it's just beneath, you know? So, I mean, I think it's pretty cool, though, because we're at a Pacers game, and yet there's so much energy around Caitlin, around the Fever, and so it's really special because you know that this is going to be an exciting year, but I thought that was pretty cool.
Dana, go ahead. Or if you have, go ahead.
Yeah. So what is your goal this year overall for this season? What is your number one goal?
The number one goal is definitely going to be playoff, and not just playoffs at like lower seeds, but hopefully even in the middle of the pack, just because of that's how we want to come in this year, and that's how we want to compete and just make it hard for teams. I think the biggest thing for us also is being the hardest working team, being consistent, because when you have that and you're going into every game, you know what each other's going to bring, you know that you can rely on each other, and so I think that'll be really great for us this year.
There you got Mike in the front row there.
Aliyah, we've sort of asked Lynn and some other folks in here about security, and that's been an issue that's been talked about a lot in the last few years, especially somebody like yourself who is so recognizable, became very recognizable in college. How has that changed, or do you feel like that there's been progress made in terms of feeling safe all the time, whether that's traveling or just going to and from games, things like that?
It definitely has, and this year especially, we've talked a lot with security and just how they're going to be traveling with us this year, and just making sure there's someone with us. And I think that's great, just because of how we travel and how many people recognize us and the energy that's around the WNBA, but just thinking about the Fever itself. And so I think it's really great progress.
Tony, go ahead.
Liam, I'm curious how often you talk to Asia nowadays, and her rookie season, the Aces went 14-20. Like the path from that team going from where they were to where they are now, if the Fever can copy some of that.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't talked about that, but I think just going off of what you just said there, I think when you think of a team and you think of a success story, I mean, the Aces, back-to-back champions, but that's not where they started. And I think that's important, because you look at the Fever right now, and, everyone talks about how many games we've won in the past 2 years. But I think over the past year, especially this last year, you've seen that jump, and you've seen the people that we've been able to bring in. So I think it's with time, you continue to gel, you continue to work, and then we're going to be there.
Chloe?
Yeah, you talked about, being in a lot of close games last year, and you're unfortunately on the wrong side of those. Just how does that experience help you going into this year, just to be on the right side of close games? I mean,
the WNBA is the best professional league there is, right? And so you're looking at it, and it is hard to be on this team. It's hard to be one of the 144. And so coming in, yes, we had a lot of close games, but as a rookie, being able to see how I was able to build off of that mentally, physically, work in the offseason, knowing what it's going to take for us to continue to close out some of these close games. But then you also look at my teammates that have came in that just continue to work on their game especially. So, I mean, you look at it, yeah, we lost a lot of games last year, but I still think of how young we were, right? And the experience, bringing in the rookies, having a bunch of second years with a couple vets. I mean, we are just building, and it takes time, and I'm really excited for this year, because I think we have been working a lot. We've been working together. We brought in some great pieces, and so it's going to be really exciting.
Go on Zoom. Sean Schultz. Sean, you got one?
Hey, Leah. Schultz, WNBA NBA Swish. A lot gets talked about with Caitlin, rightfully so, but with your other new additions, Katie, Lou, some of the others, what have you noticed about how the chemistry's come together, and just what have you noticed about them in general?
Yeah, I mean, great teammates. I think that's the biggest thing. Katie, Lou, Temi, the rookies, like great communicators, have just been able to talk to us a lot. I think just for Katie Lou in general, I mean, she shoots that ball so well, and so I'm really excited for that because of how well she can stretch the floor, and her positions, and how she can play multiple is really important for us. And I just think it's been great. It's been really exciting to be able to get to work, start training camp, be able to play with them, play against them, so we're able to just continue to gel more.
Go on Zoom for another one. Blake, go ahead.
Blake, you're on mute.
Maybe not. Maybe not. He's trying.
This is Blake Spadaro from Blake State. How does it feel that you get to play with Caitlin instead of playing against her?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it feels really great. I remember the first day she came in, I was like, Caitlin, I don't have any beef with you, but girl, you did not have to drop 41 against me. I was really trying to get to that championship, but whatever. I mean, it feels great just because you're able to see and be on that side of receiving passes, just the way she shoots the ball. And I think she makes you better, and I think she pushes you just because of her competitive spirit, but also her ability to see the floor. I think that's one of the biggest things. I feel like I say it all the time, but I know everyone talks about her three-point shot, but she sees the floor really well, and she's able to get you the ball where you need it.
Anybody else? Mike got one in the front, right behind you.
Lee, I know you talked about this, I think, the other day about the partnership with Nalissa, another young post player. I wonder if you could expand on that a little bit, the way the two of you learned to play on the court together last year, and how do you think that's going to continue this season?
Yeah, Liz is a great post player, and I think you've been able to see it a couple times last year in the games, this year, upcoming, how her ability to put the ball on the floor and attack. And I think that makes her more of a threat because she can attack from the perimeter. She can shoot the three. She can make the right pass in, but also being able to flip-flop. I think just because there's not some forwards that are undersized that she can post up. And so just being able to read off each other, I think last year we had a great bond, figuring out how to play, how she likes the passes, how I like the passes in, especially when it's coming post to post, and just being able to push each other. And I think that's the biggest thing. And then also us being able to attack the boards. Rebounding, I think, has definitely been something that we talked about this year, just being able to crash the glass, give each other second chances, give the team second chances, and be able to push in transition.
Anybody else? Yeah, go ahead, Mike.
Getting to know Caitlin, how fast does that process happen for teammates, especially teammates, or now they're teammates who played against each other? Do you guys spend a lot of time away from the court just getting to know each other a little bit, or how does that process work?
Yeah, I think we, on the court, obviously, we build that relationship, and off the court, we're able to do stuff, especially when we have team activities to do. But I think, honestly, you really get to know each other on the court a lot. I know that sounds like a lot of the stuff is built off the court, but when you have a season, a quick turnaround like that, and we are on the court so much, you're able to talk, understand. We've talked after practices, before practices, just understanding each other a little bit more. But it's honestly been great. It definitely is quick, but it's not something that has to be forced, if you know what I mean. It's just good conversation, easygoing, and so it's been really nice.